Hey, what's up my fish tank guys and girls? Today I'm going to be talking to you a little bit more about the Asta 20 budget-friendly LED marine light. Now I did an unboxing of this light a couple videos ago, and today I'm going to take you through the functionality of the unit and also give you my first impressions about it to tell you what I think, if it's worth it, if it's well built, if it's sturdy, if it has nice features, all those kinds of things. So without further ado, let's jump into the Asta 20 marine LED light. Okay, so to start, let's talk a little bit about the price point of this light. I believe the light was listed at around $58, but with one of those coupon codes they had on Amazon, it took the price of the light down to about 50 bucks, which is very reasonable for an LED light if it's going to be able to support coral growth within your tank. Now, this light actually says that it's meant for more of a cube style tank, but I have it hooked up to a 10-gallon standard size tank here, just to see the coverage of the light and if it's something you could use for a 10-gallon nano reef such as this one right here. Now to start, I'm going to go back and forth. I'm going to give you up close shots of what I'm talking about so you'll see what exactly I'm referring to. But first, let's just talk about the mounting options. Now they tell you that this light can be mounted on either a rimless or a rimmed tank. That is actually true. Now the only issue is with a rimless tank, the installation of the light is a lot cleaner. It looks a lot nicer. Now, as you can see here, I have this on a rim tank, and what it requires you to do is basically turn the bracket backwards. So you have the screw that holds the light in place on the inside of your tank. You've kind of got the wire sort of like going from like inside the rim over the rim to the outside of the tank, so it's not quite as clean as if you have a rimless tank, but it definitely works, which is good because there are a lot of lights out there that just simply don't work with rimmed tanks. Okay, so on to the build of the light. The light itself seems pretty sturdy. It seems pretty well made. The neck is flexible, but it's not too flexible. So once you get it where you'd like it to be, it'll stay there. It won't slowly like sag over time or move or shift or things like that. The housing of the light itself is metal. It seems pretty well made. It seems pretty sturdy. Again, I don't really, there's not a lot of ways to describe build, but in terms of like a $50-ish light, it seems pretty nice. So now we're going to move on to the functionality of the light itself. Here's the remote. I'm going to give you guys a close-up of the remote so you can take a look at it. It has a power button, a Wi-Fi, speed, channel 1, 2, 3, and 4, a plus, a minus, and a full power button. Now the interesting thing about this remote is that right in the instruction manual it says the Wi-Fi and the speed buttons don't apply to this light. It must be for one of their other models. So those buttons are basically worthless. Now the interesting thing about channel 1, 2, 3, and 4 is that gives you a little bit more customization over the look of your LEDs and the color that you have within your tank. Now I'm looking at the instruction manual here just to read you guys what they provide. Channel 1 is a 4-piece blue LED. Channel 2 is a 4-piece white LED. Channel 3 is 4-piece royal blue. And then channel 4 is red, green, blue plus UV. So you can manipulate the strength of each of those channels independently to give the light a different look based on what you're trying to go for. Now the one issue I do have with this unit is that normally you would think you could point your remote at the light and turn it on. Well, that actually doesn't work. What you have to do instead is you have to point at the power supply that comes with the unit. So let me grab this here to show you, and I'll give you a close-up, but here's the power supply. And actually the IR sensor for the remote is on the front of the power supply. So if you see here, now the LED turns on. So depending on your setup, that might cause a little bit of a challenge. Normally you just like to point there and it worked, but you have to point, you know, maybe down at the floor where you have your light. So I'm going to give you an overhead view of this light so you can see what it looks like. It's going to be kind of hard to tell necessarily from front view because of the light in the room. But right here, this is with each channel at 50% intensity. Now if I hit full power, There you go. There are all 4 channels all the way on. Again, I'll show you this from above so you guys can get a better idea of the look of the light and the coverage within the tank. Now, the neat thing about this light is it comes with 2 different lens covers, okay? It comes with what they call a 90-degree lens cover and a 180-degree lens cover. You can easily swap these in and out by turning this silver ring here. You don't want to do it when it's facing down. You want to flip it up so the lens cover doesn't fall out. But you simply unscrew this ring, replace the lens cover, and you'll get a different look. Now, I will show you a view from above of the 90-degree lens cover and of the 180-degree lens cover. Now, one will give you more concentrated, like a more concentrated area of where the light is, and the other one will allow you to disperse that a bit. In my opinion, looking at this 10-gallon tank, I have really good coverage from one side all the way to the other side. Now, it said that it shouldn't support a tank this large. It said it is 8 to 18 inches across cube tank. This is a little bit wider than that, and I still have really good coverage all the way up to the glass. Now, most often you're not going to have coral right against your glass. You're going to have a lot of it concentrated in the middle of your tank. So I think that for a budget light, this is a pretty good option as long as this light supports coral growth. So without taking you through all of the steps to modify the intensity of the light in the different channels, I will just say that in general, it's very easy to use. You simply press one of the channels and then you press the plus or minus to lower the intensity or raise the intensity of that channel until you have each of the 4 channels where you would like them to be. I'm not all that great when it comes to tuning a blue this way and a white and the royal blue this way and the UV this way. I'm not very good with all of that. I just get them all to a decent intensity that will support the corals in the tank and also have a nice look. If you want a bluer look to your tank, you can turn those white LEDs down and you can turn your blue LEDs up, that kind of thing. So it's very nice in that regard. Okay, so overall first impressions of the Asta 20 Marine LED light, I think it seems like a pretty good deal for around $50. It's a solid build quality. I like the remote. The customization of each of the individual channels is nice. There's really no dimming feature or anything like that for timers. So if you want more control over your light, this is not for you. But if you're just getting into the hobby, you don't want to spend a lot of money, you just want to see what owning a saltwater tank is like, this might be a good option for you. Some of the cons, I do not like how on a rimmed tank the bracket and the screw is on the inside of the tank. That's a little unsightly, not the greatest. And I'm also not the biggest fan of the remote interacting with the power supply rather than it interacting with the light itself. That could be troublesome if you have the power supply behind a cabinet or you know, if it's just not in a great place to point the remote at the power supply. This is always easily accessible. It's right, boom, it's right there. But I would say overall, for around $50, I think this is a great beginner light. You have people that recommend Kessels to beginners. They're over $200 a piece usually. They just had a Refugium light come out that's over $400. That's pretty crazy to me. I would never spend $400 on a Refugium light, but if that's your lane, then that's fine, you can do that. But overall, I think this is a great starter light. I'm really interested to start this tank, get it up and running, put some corals in and see if the light supports them. So I can't wholeheartedly recommend it yet because I don't know in terms of the LEDs how it will support coral growth. But at least from a first impression standpoint, functionality standpoint, and durability, sturdiness, build of the light, I think it's a pretty good deal. I'll have the link to this light in the description below if you guys want to check it out. I would really appreciate it. Obviously, I'm not sponsored or anything like that. So once again, I'm the Fish Tank Guy. Thank you so much for checking out my channel. Please check me out on Twitter and Instagram at Real Fish Tank Guy. Other than that, I got podcasts that I don't really do all that often, but I'm hoping to get back into them again. And feel free to comment if you have this light or have experience with it. I'd really like to see you know, if it worked out well for you, if it didn't work out well, and then other people who visit the video can kind of get a better idea what this light will do for them in the future, instead of just, you know, how good are the features and how good is the durability and stuff like that. So, all right, I'm getting wordy as I always do. So until a future fish tank guy video, I will see you guys soon. So I don't know what the heck is going on here, but it seems like all of the smaller hermit crabs are attacking Dwight, the large hermit crab. And they're walking all over my Sunny D's, which is frustrating, but I can't really do much about it. But this is like the gathering of the hermits. It's freaking weird, man. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 right here. And do not climb that. Do not.